We are live. That was quick. Goodness. So, hello to one and all. Today, I welcome back a popular guest on the show. She used to manage a lab in an NHS hospital, but swapped out her career to follow her passion. Today, she makes handmade jewellery, which is attuned to Reiki. This gives it an edge, to say the least. This jewellery is then shipped around the world to many happy customers. We're going to be talking about how to use crystals generally, how on earth you meditate on or with a crystal, and the powerful uses of crystal grids. If that's not enough, we'll be seeing some of Angela's wonderful handmade jewellery, so there's lots to stick around for. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Angela Richardson of Empowered Crystals. Thank you for joining me, Angela.
Hello!
Yeah. I think it would be prudent for those who are not familiar with your work just to do a brief recap of your backstory, where you were before selling your crystals and how you got to be doing what you are today.
Okay, so I'm Angela and I run Empowered Crystals, and it's just me. I do everything. And I hand make jewellery and I Reiki attune it all so that you actually receive not only the healing power of the crystals, but the Reiki all mixed into it. So it's much more powerful than normal crystal jewellery. I used to work as a biochemist for 20 years. So I worked in the NHS, and then I ended up running a lab in an oncology unit. And that oncology unit was a private clinic, and they were very forward thinking. And they actually combined alternative health with, well, complementary health, I would like to call it, in with the oncology treatments. And while I was there, I have always had an interest in crystals. So I sort of developed this interest, and I saw how well things worked with normal medicine and quite aggressive medicine as well. The recovery of people and the calmness of people when they had the complementary therapies. And that's when my business started, the idea started to grow. And now I have Empowered Crystals, where I combine it all, and I left my job over 5 years ago.
Yeah, thanks. Biochemistry, that must have been some degree. That sounds fascinating.
It's actually biomedical sciences degree in MSc, so it wasn't an easy one.
Yeah, I can well imagine that must have been tough going, to say the least, but good for you for achieving that. I thought it was the NHS you worked, but it was actually a private lab. So now you obviously make handmade crystals. How did you learn to make your how did you learn to make your jewelry? Did it take you long? Did it come naturally? Was it loads of trial and error? How did it work?
Loads of trial and error, basically. I started off with a book. I'm all self-taught, and from the book I would start off with simple things, and then I would make the designs as I got a bit more competent, because I was making the jewellery quite a long time before I actually started selling it, for about at least a year. And then I'd start making the designs a bit more complicated. And then I'd start pulling in other different wire wrapping techniques. So it's some of it's original from me because I've tweaked designs. Other bits are just standard wire wrapping techniques, but I've sort of combined unusual designs, I suppose. So something that might be standard, I've actually added my little twists to. But yeah, it's taken years, to be honest.
So even today, do you factor into your business model a certain amount of waste as you try to craft new jewellery pieces? Is that how it works? Are you still making mistakes, throwing away stuff till you get it just right?
Oh God, yeah. I have this like pile of wire that I think I might be able to do something out of it, but I end up having to throw it away. But yeah, and also the thing is with crystals as well, because some of them are quite brittle. I sometimes end up breaking the crystals while I'm wire wrapping. So it's very much trial and error. So, and there is quite a lot of wastage in it. But I mean, I've just done a new design this week actually, which I'm just starting to roll out. So and that's all sort of a new like little wire roses. So yeah, I'm always trying to introduce new stuff. And I don't just do the wire wrapping. I like sort of setting stones into silver so people have something a bit more conventional as well. I just like to have as wide, basically the focus for me is the crystals, and I want people to wear them within their aura so they get that healing Reiki energy combined with the crystal energy. And perfect way to do that is wearing jewelry, basically.
Yes. If you're just joining, I've got Angela Richardson here of Empowered Crystals. If you've got any questions moving forward, if you're catching the replay, pop them in the comments box or any comments, and we'll address them live or circle back retrospectively. So how do you best use a crystal, Angela? If we go right back to the beginning, just say someone's new to this topic, how do you select, and then how do you use a crystal?
So I always think that our first instinct with a crystal is the right one. So I'll often get people message me and say, I'm really interested in like onyx or amethyst, and but what would you suggest? And I always say your first instinct is probably the best one, because that's what you're being pulled towards. And the thing is with crystals, I do feel so they bring out our inner intuition. So I think that you really do need to sort of think and feel about crystals. And I know it sounds silly, but on my website, I actually sit there and energize the pages with Reiki so people can receive the crystal energy. And I also do that through my social media. I do these little videos so people can actually receive the energy, feel the energy of the crystals. So if you sort of are wondering whether a crystal will suit you, you can actually sort of go through my videos and have little tasters of these crystal energies and think, oh, that's felt nice. And then you can sort of buy the jewelry to sort of have it a bit more constantly.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about Reiki infusing your website pages. Reminds me of years ago, a friend of mine had his own business. He was a computer IT expert, and I went on his website, and the energy was horrible. And it was like I was picking up the energy of competitors looking at his website and his prices, and the energy was not a good place to hang out, especially if you're sensitive. So I sent him ground the energy on your website, and he was like, "How do I do that?" So I was, showing him some techniques. I said, "There you go. It's a much better place to rock up to now." So yeah, that is important. I'm pleased you brought that in. If there's a tip, if anyone's watching, just keep grounding the energy on your website so it's more of a neutral place rather than old stagnant energy, which is often chaotic. How do you meditate once you've chosen your crystal? How do you meditate with it? What is there any procedure to go through? Is there any kind of guidelines you could give the audience?
Well, what I think is very important is to create a space. You don't just sit down and with your piece, because whilst you can do that, I don't think you're going to get the maximum out of it. I think you need to have a room by yourself. What I do is I use a little shelf for a meditation center, and I've set it all up like an altar. You don't have to set up an altar, but just have a candle. I think it's very important to have fire energy in when you're working in the meditation, because I think it brings in like a warmness and a really primal energy when you're meditating. So just lighting a candle and hold the crystal in your hand. So just imagine this is the crystal. I mean, it's one of my pendants, but so just hold it in your hand and just feel that energy, really feel it. You can close your eyes, concentrate on the candle. And also what I like to do with crystals is you just really look, because they've got such depth and they'll always have something inside the crystal. Sometimes you'll see little images, and sometimes those images, it's almost like scrying, it will give you a message. But if you really concentrate on the crystal and try to do that for, 5-10 minutes, and you'll start to really attune to that crystal. And if you work with it, I also like to, when you go to bed, do it in the evening, pop it under your pillow, and sometimes it'll give you dreams and give you images and messages or omens, or sometimes angel numbers. So they can speak to you. I know it sounds weird, but they can.
Great advice. I'm just going to nip to the comment section in a minute. We've got Sue Ratley. You must be quite early where you are, Sue. Eastern time. It's a good 5 hours behind. And morning, welcome to you, Sue. We've got Samantha Whitaker. She's saying she even smudges her digital space as well, which, yeah.
Good plan.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, Sam. Thanks for joining us. Is there see any more questions, comments for Angela as we move through? They're all welcome. They'll all be addressed live here on the stream or retrospectively. I know another topic I've written down in the bio for this live stream was crystal grids. So I'd love to hear your spin on crystal grids, what they are, the uses, and any wins you've had with them as well. Any testimonies you can give, if you like, of success you've had with them.
Well, the big success is moving here into my new house. I had a manifesting your dream house crystal grid, and it took a little while to work, but yeah, I got it, and it was against all the odds. I had so much that came up that should have closed it down, but I'm here. So what you need to do with a crystal grid, so what I would always do is like get a little tray, so something like this, just like a little lid of a box, and you sort of start to place your crystals in like a pattern on it. And what you can do is you can choose crystals. I've got all these instructions on the YouTube channel, so for particular grids, but you would choose crystals for a particular thing. So let's pretend we want more money. So we choose ones that would bring more money. So we choose citrine, we choose adventurine, green calcite, things like that. And we'd start to build up a grid. So in the center, you'd want, I usually put like a larger grid. So pretend this is a huge citrine. I should have pulled my crystals over, but pretend that's a huge citrine. Or in actual fact, let's pretend we're doing a sleep one, because I've got more crystals for sleep here. So this is an amethyst. So we'll have a nice large amethyst. And what we're doing, we're bringing in energy to us. So I like to get crystal points, quartz points, and I start to point them towards the inner crystal. And then you choose other crystals that will calm you. So you can add other amethyst around it, or you can add howlite, it's a very calming stone. And then you can keep it all on this little crystal, all on this tray, this little crystal grid, and then you could place that next to your bed. And how to really empower it is you'd get a quartz point, and then you'd actually create an energy. So you'd go into the center one and you touch it with your quartz point, and this is all trying to, well, this is all creating a power flow within the grid. So you'd touch that, and then you touch the next crystal, go back to the center one, touch the next crystal, and all the while chanting, I now sleep well, I now sleep well, or I now have lots of money, I now have lots of money, whatever it is with the crystal, and always end up, touch every single stone and touch the center generating stone at the end, and always after each crystal, and then that actually activates and really supercharges your crystal grid.
Thank you. I've got a couple of questions. First one, do you know how many known crystals there are in the world today?
Oh my God, no. I know I've got over 100 on my site. There's absolutely loads, and there's ones being found all the time. And also sometimes there's man-made ones. I've just found one which is called terahertz, and it was found by Japanese scientists about 10-20 years ago, and it's found to vibrate at the same energy of DNA, and so it's got all these things around it that it's like a life giving vibration when you wear it, and it looks, I've only just bought it myself. It looks exactly like hematite, and so there's loads of things. I mean, for finding new things, and I've just added that into my collection last week, so that's how new everything is. But there's hundreds and hundreds of them, and the thing is, you'll get like variations, like quartz. There's so many different types of quartz, but they've all got different properties. So you get clear quartz, you'll get milky quartz, you'll get rose quartz, smoky quartz. So there's just so many variations of a certain stone as well. Yeah, I couldn't tell you, but there are a lot. There's new ones being found all the time.
Right. Good answer. Great answer. Another question that pops into my head. Cleansing your crystals, how would you do it, and how often is it recommended, or is it a case of how long's a piece of string?
Well, personally, with my jewelry, you don't need to. I actually program it in with the Reiki. So I cleanse it with the Reiki, and I program cleansing symbols in with the Reiki, so that it will, when you take it off at night, it will automatically cleanse itself. If you've got ones that aren't programmed like mine, you're looking at doing it as often as you feel, basically. If you've got a very negative situation, you may be looking at doing it, several times a day even. I've known crystals to break when people are in negative situations, because it just can't hold the amount of negative energy. So you can do it in several ways. It depends whether they're water safe or not. Most quartzes are water safe, so amethyst, citrine, quartz, you could cleanse in water. Personally, I like smoke cleansing, so I do incense. I do sage. That's all very good. You can lay them on a layer of salt. I like to use lovely Himalayan salt, so it's got beautiful energy. If you've got the nice Himalayan salt tea lights, you can lay it next to that, so they're leaning up against it. There's lots of different ways. People use the moon as well, so everybody loves to use a full moon to charge and cleanse their crystals. So you lay them in a windowsill that's going to see that full moon. But it's what you feel cleanses it best for you, because everybody's energy is going to be different. Everybody's negative energy, including, is going to be different. Some people like to just hold it in their hand and imagine a white light and say, this is cleansed now. So you can do it as simply as that, without anything, buying anything in. I personally prefer smoke if I am cleansing in a physical way. But as I say, I tend to do it via Reiki, and then if I feel as though I want to sort of do something ritually. It's more the fact of doing something ritually for me, that I like to cleanse my area with smoke before I meditate. And also I do it before I film videos, funnily enough. So I'll cleanse the area so it's got a lovely energy before I do anything with crystals.
Awesome. I just want to pay tribute to you, Angela, while we're on. I've known you for about 10 or 11 years. And since
Yeah.
you're self-employed, particularly, I know of so many obstacles and challenges you've had to surmount, not least algorithm changes on YouTube, on Facebook, on Etsy, regulations, and the list goes on and on and on. And there must have been times, well, I know there has, where you've thought, God, what am I going to do? How am I going to get past this? How am I going to surmount this? But you always do. You always manage to write it out, or make changes, or move with the times, or reinvent yourself, or learn a new skill. And I just want to, like I say, pay tribute to you. Kudos for doing that ongoing. And which brings us into a nice segue to, do you have any pieces of your jewellery, your handmade jewellery, to show the audience?
I do. So I do, as we say, the wire wrapping. So I've bought a few wire wraps. So I've bought some lovely quartz pieces, she says, trying to bring it in camera, because I've only got half the camera here. So where? So these are little quartz points, which I've wide wrapped in spirals. And the thing is with these is that I got a message through from my spirit guides, is that this spiral increases the power of them as well. So it sort of creates like a vortex of power.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I do those in lots of different wires.
What sort of price points are we looking at on the ones you've just shown?
They're about the £15 mark.
Right.
And then these are about the same, around about the £15 mark. So I've used the lotus, which is very good for meditation. It's got a lot of Tibetan symbolism. So, and it's doing a very nice glitter there, isn't it?
Yes.
And I also like to make spirit animal jewelry. So I've got like a little, she says, there we go, a bit better.
Yeah.
She says, if I get my head out of the way, then it will probably focus better. A little turtle there.
Yeah, yeah.
And these are the new ones that I've been working on. It's a little wire rose. Gosh, I keep them going the opposite direction. I'm sorry.
The cameras are backwards, yeah. Yeah.
There we go. So that's a little wire rose. I have to take my word for it.
Extremely creative, and you always knock it out the park. You always bring in new ranges every time you come. Every time you've been on the show.
And these are my a bit high quality range, and these are like sterling silver leaves with a little stone inside. So they go up in price a bit. They're about £23, but still very good value for sterling silver. And then I have little protective symbols as well, which are my favourite, little Hamzas. And I also like this shape, which is like a little geometric triangle, which I feel as though creates an energy vortex as well. And one of my most popular ones I'm wearing, little moon.
Get in, yeah.
And that's another one of my most popular ones as well. I do them in lots of different stones, just little boho style circle.
So that's it. Make wonderful gifts, or if you want to buy them for yourself. Here's a question: if somebody was to reach out to you and say, Angela, I'm interested in buying one of your pieces, could you give me a little bit of advice on what what would be best for my particular situation? Would you be open to guiding somebody before they made a purchase?
Yes, I have to do that all the time. I always get those messages. Yeah, a lot of people do they sort of have sort of particular problem. It's quite often anxiety. That's the most common question. You know, I suffer from anxiety. What would you suggest? Or sleep problems. I also, money ones are popular, but often people don't ask for it. It's usually sort of like stress and that the people actually ask for, but I suppose, you know, they feel as though they need to do something.
Right. So saying, do you make the leaves and such?
Basically, I buy in the sterling silver parts, I set the stones in, and I add the bales. So whilst I hand make it, I'm not a silversmith. So yes, I do make it, but I don't actually silversmith the pieces. I buy in the individual pieces and put them all together. But I do set the stones in because the important thing for me is to be able to choose those rare crystals so that I can put any stone in. So I always buy pieces of sterling silver that I can put my crystals in.
Cool. That one for you, Sue. So you presumably got pages and pages on your website of the crystals you've done currently, historically, and you ship around the world.
Yeah.
Is there shipping costs involved? I'm assuming there is.
Well, obviously for me, but I've got free shipping for everything. And that's worldwide. So I basically absorb the costs, and so that everybody can have the jewelry. So whilst the lower end is probably more expensive than you'd may see in some places, it's because it's free shipping and everything is gift wrapped. Comes in a jewelry box. It comes with a little gift card with the folklore, the Reiki attunement explanation, and also even how to care for your gift, how to care for your piece of jewelry on the back, the jewelry care.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I've ordered stuff from you over the years, and it comes up beautifully wrapped. It's lovingly made, it's lovingly packaged. There's some attention to detail gone into that. And free shipping, my God, who doesn't want some of that? I did get your website right, didn't I? Empoweredcrystals.com, is that correct?
It is, yes, empoweredcrystals.com.
And you've got a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, you're on Instagram, you're everywhere.
TikTok now.
TikTok, oh, check you out.
Yeah. I've just reached 8,000 followers on there, so getting there.
Good for you. So yes, you can find Angela on Facebook, Empowered Crystals, empoweredcrystals.com, YouTube, you're on Empowered Crystals as well, is that right?
Yes, I'm Empowered Crystals on everything. Just to warn you, somebody's using Empowered Crystals UK, and they're not me. I don't know why they've decided to use my name, but some people are getting quite confused. I'm getting reviews for them and comments for them, but I have nothing to do with that company. But I have my face on everything, so you'll know me. So my face is on my website pages. They're all in the bottom corner, and you'll see my YouTube videos on my website. It's on the front page. So
nice one. Angela, you've been a delight as always, given loads of value. If you're watching this on replay, drop your comments and questions for Angela, and she'll revisit. And do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Just if you feel as though you want to work with crystals, then you don't have to do anything complicated. You can just buy a few tumble stones and just experiment, and you can just build up to something a bit bigger. You don't have to start out big. You can start out small and just buy something small. I would always recommend, obviously I do it, but having something that's Reiki attuned or Reiki infused, because it does have a better feeling. But yeah, just experiment.
Thank you. And Sue Ratley saying, enjoyed you guys very much. Thanks for the help. Blessings. Thank you to you, Sue, for being a part of this live stream. Thank you to all of viewers who watched and those on the replay. Thank you to Angela Richardson as well. Get yourself on over to empoweredcrystals.com and see what else is there on offer. Much love to you all. Till the next time. Bye for now.